See, when Lena first watched the short film, she could not breathe. On the screen stood a legendary actress who had passed away decades ago, smiling, blinking, and delivering lines with emotional precision. The lighting was perfect. The voice trembled in exactly the right places. The audience in the small art house cinema gasped, then applauded. Only one thing was strange. The actress was not alive. The film had been created using deepfake technology, a form of artificial intelligence that can generate hyperrealistic images, voices, and movements by learning from existing data. In this case, thousands of old films, interviews, and photographs had been fed into an algorithm. The result was a digital resurrection. As the lights came on, people argued excitedly. "It is beautiful," someone said. "2. It is terrifying," another replied. "'Tis the future of art," a third insisted. Lena said nothing. She was a young documentary filmmaker, and for weeks she had been struggling with a question that would not leave her mind. Just because we can create something, does it mean we should a new tool or a moral threat? A few days later, Lena met her friend Ethan, a software engineer who worked with AI models. They sat in a quiet cafe, laptops closed, coffee cooling between them. "Deepfake technology is just a tool," Ethan said calmly. "Like a camera. Like Photoshop. Artists have always used new tools to push boundaries." Lena shook her head. "A camera does not steal someone's face," she replied. 2. This technology can copy a person's identity, their expressions, even their voice. That feels different." Ethan leaned back. "But what if the person gives consent? What if their family agrees? Imagine unfinished films completed, lost performances restored, historical figures teaching students in classrooms." Lena imagined it, a virtual Shakespeare explaining metaphors, a digital musician releasing new songs long after death. The idea was powerful, even exciting. But then another image appeared in her mindfake speeches, manipulated interviews, artists replaced by perfect digital replicas. "And what about misuse?" she asked quietly. "What about lies that look real?" Then did not answer immediately. 2. The artist who refused to understand more, Lena interviewed Mara, a respected theater director known for her strict ethical stance. Mara had recently refused funding for a project that involved recreating a famous actor using deepfake technology. "They wanted perfection," Mara said. "No aging, no mistakes, no unpredictability." "What is wrong with that?" Lena asked. Mara smiled sadly. "Art is human because it is flawed. A digital face does not grow tired. It does not forget lines. It does not age. When we replace humans with simulations, we do not improve art, we sanitize it." Mara paused, then added, "And there is another danger. When audiences no longer trust what they see, truth becomes fragile." That sentence stayed with Lena. Truth becomes fragile. The gray zone of consent. 2. The debate became even more complicated when Lena spoke with Noah, a young visual artist who used deepfake tools in experimental installations. "I only work with volunteers," Noah explained. "They sign agreements. They know exactly how their faces will be used." He showed Lena a project where participants watched digital versions of themselves delivering speeches they had never spoken. "It forces people to confront identity," Noah said. "To ask, who owns my image? My voice? My digital self?" Lena admitted the work was disturbing but also meaningful. This was the ethical gray zone. Deepfake technology could exploit, but it could also expose. It could manipulate, but it could also provoke reflection. The technology itself was neutral. The intention behind it was not a world where nothing is certain weeks later. Lena noticed how the debate was spreading beyond galleries and film festivals. News outlets discussed fake videos influencing public opinion. Actors worried about losing work to digital doubles. Viewers questioned whether any image could be trusted. In the creative arts, trust is everything. If an audience cannot trust a performance, the emotional connection breaks. If artists cannot control their likeness, creativity becomes exploitation. If reality and fiction become indistinguishable, society loses a shared ground. Yet banning deepfake technology entirely felt impossibly and perhaps unnecessary. Lena realized the real question was not technology versus art, but ethics versus irresponsibility. Choosing responsibility over fear for her next documentary, Lena made a decision. She would use deepfake technology, but openly, transparently, and with strict rules. Every digital recreation would be clearly labeled. Every participant would give informed consent. The film would not pretend to be reality. It would question it. At the end of the documentary, Lena included a simple message. Technology does not decide our values. We do. When the film premiered, reactions were mixed. Some praised its honesty. Others felt uncomfortable. A few walked out. But no one was silent. And that, Lena believed, was the purpose of ethical art. Not to provide easy answers, but to force society to ask better questions. What can we learn? Deepfake technology in creative arts is neither pure innovation nor pure danger. It is a mirror reflecting human intention. Used carelessly, it can deceive, exploit, and destroy trust. Used responsibly, it can expand storytelling, preserve history, and challenge identity. The future of art will not be decided by algorithms alone. 2. It will be shaped by artists, audiences, laws, and ethical choices. And perhaps the most important lesson is this: in a world where images can lie, integrity becomes the most powerful creative tool of all. When the law enters the studio after the documentary's release, Lena received an unexpected email invitation. A university was hosting a public forum titled Deepfakes, Creativity and Responsibility, bringing together artists, technologists, lawyers, and students. They asked her to speak not as an expert, but as a storyteller who had stood in the middle of the storm. On the day of the event, the auditorium was full. On stage sat a strange combination of people: a digital sculptor, a copyright lawyer, a philosopher, and a film student barely 20 years old. The diversity itself reflected the problem. Deepfake technology touched everyone, yet no single group owned the answer. The lawyer spoke first. When a person's face becomes data, she said, we enter uncharted territory. Current laws were not designed for synthetic identities. Who is responsible when a digital performance causes harm? The programmer, the artist, or the platform? The room was silent. Lena realized something unsettling. Ethics always moves slower than innovation. Art runs ahead. Technology runs faster. Law struggles to catch up. The student questioned that changed the room during the discussion. A student raised her hand. If deepfakes can perfectly imitate humans, she asked, how do we protect young artists? What happens when studios decide real people are too expensive, too emotional, too unpredictable? The question hit hard. The digital sculptor answered honestly. That risk is real. Efficiency can easily replace empathy if profit becomes the only value. Lena thought of actors who trained for years to master subtle gestures, dancers whose bodies told stories no algorithm could fully understand. Would audiences still value that effort if a machine could copy the surface so convincingly? This was the heart of the ethical debate. Do we value authenticity or only appearance? The illusion of control. Later that evening, Lena walked alone across campus. Screens glowed in windows, Students edited videos, coded projects, and shared content online. Creativity had never been more accessible and never more vulnerable. Deepfake technology created an illusion of control. It promised perfect performances, eternal youth, flawless delivery. But control came with a cost. When artists lost control over their own image, creativity risked becoming a commodity rather than an expression. When audiences lost trust, emotional connection weakened. And when reality itself became uncertain, responsibility became easy to avoid. Lena remembered something Mara had said weeks ago. Art teaches us how to live with uncertainty. When we remove that, we remove its soul. A different kind of performance months later. Lena attended an experimental theater performance, rumored to solve the deepfake problem. The stage was bare. No projections. No screens. Only actors and live musicians. Midway through the play, a large screen descended. A deepfake version of one actor appeared, performing the same shine but perfectly. No hesitation. No visible fear. Zen, the live actor, spoke. "You see the difference?" he said to the audience. "The machine gives you certainty. I give you risk." He forgot a line. He laughed. He breathed heavily. The audience applauded louder than before. The message was clear. Technology could replicate form, but not vulnerability. Redefining ethical guidelines. Inspire. Lena collaborated with other creators to draft a set of ethical principles, not laws, but shared values for using deepfake technology in creative arts. Transparency. Audiences must know when content is synthetic. Consent. No likeness should be used without clear, informed permission. Purpose. Deepfakes should serve artistic meaning, not deception. Accountability. Creators must take responsibility for impact, not hide behind tools. Human priority. Technology should support, not replace, human creativity. The guidelines spread quickly. Some dismissed them as idealistic. Others embraced them as necessary. Ethics, Lena learned, is not about perfection. It is about direction. The future is watching us. Jiz. Lena's documentary was shown in classrooms. Students debated fiercely. One group argued that deepfake technology democratized creativity, allowing small artists to compete with large studios. Another warned that without strong ethical culture, the same tools would destroy trust entirely. Both sides were right. That was the truth Lena had come to accept. Slotty. Technology does not move in straight lines. It reflects who we are and who we choose to become. Final reflection. In the end, the debate over deepfake technology in creative arts is not about machines learning to imitate humans. It is about humans deciding what they value more: convenience or conscience, illusion or integrity, control or connection. Art has always been a moral conversation with society. Deepfakes simply make that conversation unavoidable. And perhaps that is their greatest ethical challenge and their greatest creative opportunity.